Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be learning how to make this underbust corset dress. So it's a very well detailed tutorial. If this is what you're interested in, please continue watching. If this is your first time here, my name is Lily and this is the face behind this channel. Please click the subscribe button, also turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I put up a new video. So guys, please, after watching my video you find it helpful, don't forget to leave a comment, like, comment, share. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get into it. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be working with this crepe. It's actually non-stretchy crepe and then I have roughly 4 yards of it. So this is the fabric I'll be working with. So get your pattern paper and your ruler. First thing first is to create your starting line. Just as you can see, I usually come down by 2 inches, okay, because that is my ruler width. And then I'll label this point as the front, the shoulder line also, and then I'm going to go over to the other side and then label it as the back. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to create my neckline by coming down from the shoulder point by 3 inches, which is my neck depth, and then for the width I'm going to make that 3 inches and then go ahead to create my neckline like so, just as you can see now. So after doing that, the next thing you are going to do is to mark your shoulder line. So my shoulder measurement is 14 divided by 2 is 7. I'll mark that now, just as you can see, and then I'm going to come down by my chest line. So my chest line I'm working with 8 inches, just as you can see now. That is what I am marking, just as you can see me do. So after doing that now, the next thing I'm going to do is to create my chest line like so, and then I will also label it out as my chest line. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to come down by my bust point. So I'm working with 10 inches, just as you can see. From your shoulder to your bust point, whatever it is, measure it and then mark it down. Then I'm going to use my ruler also to create my bust point line, and then I will also label it out as my bust point. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come down by my shoulder to my half length or my waistline. Just as you can see, I'm working with 16 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and then mark that out, and then I'm going to also create my waistline and then also label it out as my waistline. So when you're done, come over to the waistline and then come down by whatever you use as your hip measurement. So my waist to hip line, I work with 9 inches. So you can see that is exactly what I'm marking. So remember, it's not the standard, so use whatever you are used to. So I'm also going to label it as my hip line. So this is it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to also mark my shoulder measurement on my chest line and then create my shoulder line like so. And then the next thing I'm going to do also is to go ahead and then divide my round bust circumference by 4. I'm working with 36 inches, so I'm going to mark 9, and then on my waistline I'm going to divide my waist circumference by 4, which is 28. I'm marking 7, sorry, and then on my hip line I'm going to mark 10 because I'm working with 40 inches. So I'm going to connect the whole points together, just as you can see now. Okay, so after connecting, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in by my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. I'm working with 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4. I mark it on my waistline, my bust point, and then from my waistline I'm going to come down by 5 inches, and then I'll align it by 4 inches so that I'll have a straight dart line. Just as you can see now, I'll connect it to the bust point. So after doing that, I'm going to use half inches as my dart intake. So you can see I'm marking half inch on both sides, and then I'm going to connect it to my bust point like so. Also do the same thing here, and then take it to the 5 inches, just as you can see. When you're done, come over to your waistline and then come down by 5 inches, just as you can see. And then when you're done, also come over to the side, come down by 2.5 inches. Okay, so hope this makes sense. To your center at the waistline, come down by 5 inches, and then to the side come down by 2.5 inches. So take your curve ruler and then go ahead and then connect from the front to the side, the center front to the side. So when you're done, the next thing you are going to do is to come down from your shoulder by your under bust circumference. So I'm working with 13 inches, just as you can see now. I'm marking 13 inches as my under bust measurement, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a line for my under bust, and then I will also label it as, just as you can see me do now. So this is it. We are going to move over to the back so that we can actually draft out the back pattern. So to do that, first thing first, we are going to take off a few inches from the center back. So I'm going to take off 1.5 inch. So whatever works for you, you can take off 2 inches. whatever works for you, like I said. So I'm going to maintain the same neckline as the front. So for the neck width, I'm using 3 inches. For the neck depth, I'm marking 3 inches, though I later change it to 1.5, so you can actually correct that now. So as you can see now, I am still maintaining the 3 inches, though I later change it to 1.5. So this is it for the neckline. So from your shoulder line, we are going to come down by your chest line. So remember, I marked 8 inches at the front, so I'm maintaining the same thing for my back chest line. So this is it, and then I'm also going to label it out as my chest line. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in by my shoulder measurement, divide by 2, which is 7 inches. I'm going to repeat it on my chest line also, and then create my shoulder line like so. So after doing that, I'm going to also measure my half length. So I'm maintaining the same front half length. So remember, I marked 16 inches at the front. Since we are not adding side darts, maintain whatever you are using as your front shoulder to waistline. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, and then I'm also going to label it out as my waistline, just as you can see. So from my waistline, I'm also going to come down by 9 inches, just like I did at the front. And then I'm also going to go ahead and then create my hip line. Remember, like I said, this is not the standard, so whatever works for you, go ahead with it. So this is it for my hip line. So I'm going to divide my round bust circumference by 4, which is 9 inches. I'm working with 36 inches. The waistline, I will divide my round waist by 4, and then the hip line, I also divide my hip circumference by 4. Connect the whole thing together, just as you can see. So I'll connect. After connecting, I'm going to also go in by my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2, which is 4. I'll mark it here, and then I'll come down by 5 inches also, just like I did at the front. We need to maintain the same thing. We actually need to maintain the same dart length. So when you're done, come over to the front, measure from your waistline to your chest line. So what I have there is 6 inches, so I'm going to bring it to the back. Sorry, from your waistline to your bust point. Measure from your waistline to your bust point. What I have is 6 inches, so I'm going to bring it to the back and then go in by my nipple to nipple measurement at that point. Do the same thing to this side, the 5 inches I came down with, and then I'm going to go ahead and then create my dart leg. So what I'm going to do is to also go in by half inch on both sides as my dart intake, and then I'm going to go ahead and then create my dart leg, just as you can see now. So I'm going to bring it down like so. So after doing that, what I'm going to do is to come over. I'm going to measure from my waistline to my bust, my under bust. I'm going to measure from my waistline to my under bust. So what I have is 3 inches, and then I'm going to go ahead and then mark it out. So first it was my bust point, second now my under bust. So hope this is not confusing. So the next thing we are going to do, remember we came down by 5 inches from our waistline, so you are going to come over to the center back, and then you are going to come down by 5 inches. Okay, so come down by 5 inches, and then at the side, remember to maintain the 2.5 inch, just like we did at the side fronts. So I'm just trying to write it out so that in case you are confused, you can just watch what I wrote there. So go ahead and then use your curve ruler to create the effects that will, just like we did at the front. So this is it, and then this is it for this. So what you're going to do, come over to the waistline, go in by 0.5 inches, and then this is actually to avoid bulging because we are going to be adding zipper. So go ahead and then use your tape, connect it like so, and then also go ahead and then bring it down. So this is it. What we are going to do now is to come over to the front. So from your under bust, you're going to go up by 1 inch. So from your under bust, go up by 1 inch, and then come over to the side. You're going to go up by 0.5 inch. Okay, and then take your ruler, connect both points together. From the 0.5 inch, connect to the 1 inch, just as you can see me do now. So this is it for the front. So this is the part we are going to cut off, just as you can see. This is the part we are using as the corset. So just go ahead and then mark it, as you can see. So come over to the back. We are going to repeat the same thing. We don't need to actually do it. We just need to maintain just the side. Okay, maintain the same 1 inch. So you want it to the same 0.5 inch, sorry, so that it will align, and then use your ruler to connect it to the center back. Okay, this is actually for it to align at the side. So just go ahead and then mark it out, just as you can see. Like I said, this is what we are using as the underbust. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my paper scissors, sorry, and then I'm going to go ahead and then cut out. So just carefully cut out as you can see me do. Guys, this is it after cutting out. So what we are going to do now, we are going to cut out at this point, and then you can actually throw the down part away, but this upper piece, please keep it safe, okay, because we are also going to need the upper piece. So we are going to bring it together. So what we are going to do now, just as you can see now, we are going to cut off, okay, let me just label out to avoid mixing them up. And then what we are going to do is to cut off the darts. Okay, just cut off your darts and then do the same thing here. Cut off the darts. So this is it. You are going to set it aside and then do the same thing to the back piece, just as you can see me do now. Also go ahead and then cut off the darts carefully. So when you're done, you're going to come over to the front. So label this as side front 1, and then what you're going to do is to get your ruler, your measuring tape, and then fold it into 2 to get the midpoint. Mark it, and then you are going to create a line, okay, just as you can see me do now. Create a line. So when you are done creating a line, you are going to go ahead and then go out by 1 centimeter on both sides. So go out by 1 centimeter on both sides, and then what you are going to do is to connect it to the top, just as you can see now, okay, and then bring it down also to the down parts, okay, from the waistline. Also bring it down like so. So when you're done, what you're going to do is to label this side as the center front 1, this side as the center front 2, and then take your paper scissors and then just cut off the darts. So carefully cut off the darts, just as you can see me do now. So when you're done, set it aside. This is it, set it aside, and then bring in the side front 1. So we are also going to do the same thing, okay. Fold it into 2, fold your tape into 2, mark the midpoint, and then you are also going to create a line, just as you can see me do now, and then also take off 1 centimeter from each side of the waistline, as you can see me do. Take it to the top like so, okay, and then you're also going to bring it down, okay, carefully bring it down like this, and then do the same thing here. So when you're done, take your paper scissors and then carefully cut out, just as you can see me do, okay. So carefully cut out, as you can see now. So when you're done cutting out, what you're going to do, you're going to label this side as the side front, okay. This is the side front 1, and then label this as the side front 2, okay. So this is it for the front piece. So we are going to set it aside and bring the back piece in. So we are going to do a repetition of what we did at the front. Also measure and then mark the midpoint. So when you're done, take your ruler, also create a line. Also go ahead and then take off 1 centimeter from both sides of the waistline, and then connect it also to the top like so, and then also bring it down, just as you can see now. Also bring it down. So what we are going to do now is to also cut off your darts, okay. So we won't be needing it. We are trying to actually cinch the waist, because like I said, remember, if you actually saw the finished look, you know that in between is actually a corset. So this is it at this point. This is the center back. So this is center back. I'm supposed to label this as center back 2 and this one as center back 1, but I actually label this as center back 2 and then the other one as center back 1. Regardless, I'm going to also do the same thing here. I'm going to fold my tape into 2 and then mark the midpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and then connect. So I'm also going to take off 1 centimeter. I'm going to take off 1 centimeter also from both sides. Then I'll go ahead and connect. After connecting, go ahead and then carefully cut off your darts, just as you can see me do. So cut off your darts. So when you're done, you're also going to label. So this is side back, okay, side back 2, and then this is side back 1. So what we are going to do, this is it for this. So we are going to set this aside now. So we are going to set it aside so that we can actually cut out the upper piece. So bring in the upper piece, just as you can see me do now. So we are going to cut out the parts that will not be needing, okay, so that we can just take what we need from the pattern. So just as you can see now, Just watch carefully to see what I'm doing. So just go ahead and cut out. So what we are going to do, we are going to add our zipper allowance. Remember, we are actually here to add our zipper allowance. Remember, like I said, that I later changed my neck depth to 1.5 inch. So that's exactly what I just did. And then I'm going to go ahead and then add my zipper allowance. Okay, so this is it. Just carefully add your zipper allowance, as you can see me do now, and then change your neck depth to 1.5 inch. So I'm going to cut that. You can see that I'm actually leaving at 1/2 inch on the neckline. Okay, and then the shoulder line, I cut out the main shoulder line. So come over to the front. You're also going to cut out carefully, just as you can see. I'm also going to leave 1/2 inch around the neckline, and then I'm going to cut out from the shoulder line. Okay, so hope this is clear. So this is it. So this is it for this. So we are going to go ahead and cut out on our fabric. Okay, so first thing first, what we are going to do, remember we are actually here to mark our shoulder slant. So this is the front. So first of all, come down by 1 inch. So this is actually our shoulder slant to create the slant effect, because we didn't do it on the pattern. So we are going to go ahead and then cut this off. Okay, so cut it off. When you're done, what you are going to do is to take your ruler, and then you are going to create your shoulder line. Okay, so from that point you cut off, just mark what you have there. Okay, mark it slantly like that, and then you are going to come over to your chest line. You are going to come down by 1.5 inch. Okay, so this 1.5 inch is actually going to serve as guideline for us. So you can see what I'm doing. From that 1.5 inch, just carefully curve out, okay, to create your armhole. Sorry, I actually made mistake there. So from that 1 inch, just carefully curve from that point to create your armhole, because we are actually sewing a cut together armhole sleeve. Sorry, cut together sleeve. So I'm marking 6 inches from my shoulder line. So that will be my sleeve length. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing now. So go ahead and repeat the same thing. So from that 1 inch, 1.5 inch, just curve in to give you that armhole effects at that point. So that intake we still have here, we are going to reduce it. Remember, we are actually going to sew off each of these dart from the corset, so we are not going to be needing it. So you can see what I'm doing. Make sure you remove it. So even if it's 1/2 inch, remove it from the waistline so that you won't have excess at the top, though you can also trim if in case. So at the down, I'm going to be adding 0.5 inches. So it's not your usual 0.5, it's actually the mark after 1/2 inch. So that is what I'm marking, because I want to have enough allowance to join with. So just as you can see now, and then to the side, I'm going to add 1 inch to the side. So I'm just going to add 1 inch to the side. Okay, so just carefully add 1 inch. I was actually adding 1.5 inch. I later changed it to 1 inch because there's no need of that. Actually, there's no need of me adding 1.5 inch. So you can see at this point I decided to change it to 1 inch, because I don't see any need of that actually, because I don't want it to be bogus at the top. Okay, I don't want it to be bogus. I want everything to be normal. So that is why I change it actually to 1 inch. Remember, you can always do whatever you want. So if you want the 1.5 inch, you can as well do that. So for the sleeve, I'm going to add extra 2 inches. That because I want to double fold the sleeve. I don't know if that makes sense. I want to double fold it, so that is why I'm adding 2 inches. And then to the shoulder line, I'm going to go ahead and then add 1/2 inch. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and then cut out. So this is it for the front piece, as you can see. So this is it. So go ahead and then set it aside, and then bring in the back piece. So for the back piece, just place the front piece on the back piece. So what you're going to do, stop at the zipper allowance. Okay, remember we are not going to add zipper to the front, so just stop. You can see exactly what I'm doing. So all you need to do is to arrange it properly, as you can see me do. and then just trace out what you have at the front so that you can use it to cut out the back. Okay, so just watch carefully. Okay, just use it to cut out the back. Okay, so remember to also remove the 1 inch shoulder slant. Okay, because we have it on the pattern. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm going to mark my allowance just as you can see me do, and then I'm going to go ahead and then cut out. So guys, this is it for the front and back piece. So we are going to set it aside so that we'll cut out what we have left. So you're going to bring this in. So I'm starting with side back too. So what you're going to do, just go ahead and then carefully pin down. So to the side, I'm adding 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm adding 1.5 inch, and then to the upper side I'm going to add 0.5 inch, and then to the down I'll do the same thing, add 0.5 inch, and then to the side at this point I'm going to add just 0.5 inch. Okay, so hope that makes sense. This is it. So when you're done, go ahead and cut out. Okay, so after cutting out, I'm going to cut out 2 pieces because I'm going to use one as the lining. So for the center front one, we are going to cut it on fold. So make sure you place your fabric on fold while cutting out the center front one, just as you can see. So add your normal usual allowance. So this is it for the front. So we are going to set it aside and then cut out the back. So I'm going to start with the side back one. So this side back one, if you notice very well, this is actually, I added 1 inch as my zipper allowance here, which is not supposed to be so. I'm supposed to add it to side back too. So this mistake is actually as a result of how I labeled. So I later corrected it, but at this point I was actually here to correct it. Okay, so the side back two is the part that we are supposed to add as zipper allowance. So if you notice, I just added it to side back one. So regardless, I will correct it later on. So I'm just stating this so that you can as well correct it at this point. So instead of adding 1 inch to the other side, just make it the same side seam allowance. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to set it aside and then cut out side back too. So this is actually the point. This is actually the one we were supposed to add our zipper allowance, but unfortunately you can see I didn't add it. So though, like I said, I later corrected it. So for now, it's going to be like this because I already filmed the cutting process before I record to correct it. So I'm going to cut out. Remember that whatever you are cutting 4 pieces each. Or 2, like I said, 2 will serve as your main piece, while the other 2 will serve as your lining. So to the side, I'm going to add 1.5 inch also, just as you can see me do. Just add 1.5 inch, and then to the down you add 0.5 inch. I already showed us the 0.5 I'm talking about. And then for the sewing allowance, add 0.5 inch. Okay, just add 0.5 inch as your sewing allowance. So when you're done, go ahead and then cut out just as you can see me do. Okay, so just go ahead and then carefully cut out. So after cutting out, you're going to bring in the side back one and then add your normal ½ inch as your seam allowance, and then to the top as usual add 0.5, and then the down repeat the same thing, add 0.5, and then for sewing also add ½ inch just as you can see. Then go ahead and cut out. So don't forget to actually cut your lining. So this is it for the whole piece. So this video is actually too long, so I will have to stop it here. We'll continue from the next video. Thank you.